Questions for reflection. In the first reading from the book of Isaiah, we heard that God desires to unite all his people. He's gathering people from all nations, meaning he's inviting the entire world to him, not just a few. And the reading explains that people from all nations will come with offerings, and God will make them into his priests and Levites. It's important to understand that we are not only invited to be Christians, but all Christians participate in the priesthood of the faithful, or the common priesthood. The Catholic Catechism explains the difference between the ministerial priesthood, the ordained priest, and this priesthood of the faithful. For example, in paragraph 1547, and I quote, "The ministerial or hierarchical priesthood of bishops and priests, and the common priesthood of all the faithful participate each in its own proper way in the one priesthood of Christ. While being ordered one to another, they differ essentially. In what sense? While the common priesthood of the faithful is exercised by the unfolding of baptismal grace, a life of faith, hope, and charity, a life according to the Spirit. The ministerial priesthood is at the service of the common priesthood. It's directed at the unfolding of the baptismal grace of all Christians. The ministerial priesthood is a means by which Christ unceasingly builds up and leads his church. For this reason, it is transmitted by its own sacrament, the sacrament of holy orders." End quote. When we were baptized, we received membership in what the Catechism calls this common priesthood. Ministerial priests offer the Eucharistic sacrifice at Mass. We are called to offer day-to-day sacrifice through prayer and devotion. We're called to minister unto one another and to share the gospel. It is right for us to be unapologetically Catholic and to share the good news of Jesus with others. It's a great thing for others to recognize us as Christians because of our faith and our good works. Let us embrace our priestly role and be a beacon of hope and love to all around us. Our responsorial psalm is just one line, and it's a call for all nations to praise God. Remember today that it's right to give God thanks and praise. Make sure you've built time for God into your schedule every day. Make time to pray morning and night and throughout the day, and shamelessly give thanks before meals and for the blessings you receive. Alleluia! Our second reading contains an important teaching that discipline can be difficult, but it is necessary. And our gospel reminds us that not everyone will make it into heaven. Correction is an essential part of discipline. Sometimes we will hear from others that we've made a mistake or that we must do things differently. How often have we heard a teaching from the church and recoiled because it spoke directly about a sin we had committed or a wrong idea that we cherish? In order for us to make it through the narrow door, we must train. Just as an Olympic athlete, except instead of only physical exertion, our efforts are mental and spiritual. Part of this training will involve correction. If you hear a teaching of the church with which you disagree, understand that it's being offered to correct you as a disciple, to learn the truth and embrace it so that you will please God and pass through the narrow door. Often, when people reject the correction of the church, it's because they don't understand the teaching. There are no teachings of the church which contradict love and compassion for all. There is no teaching of the church which curtails our true human freedom or can cause us harm. On the contrary, only through the teachings of the church can we experience true freedom, true love, and find true happiness and human flourishing. The fathers of the Second Vatican Council wrote in their document on the mission of the church, and I quote, "Authentic freedom is an outstanding manifestation of the divine image within man." That's paragraph 17 of Gaudium et Spes. The fullness of authentic human freedom is ultimately found only in a relationship with the God who is its source and who alone can set us free. When we choose the truth which He reveals, that's when we find the fullness of freedom. St. John chapter 8, verse 32 records these words of Jesus concerning this connection between freedom and truth, and I quote, "Jesus said to those Jews who believed in Him, 'If you remain in my word, you will truly be my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.' End quote. In the splendor of truth, the late Pope, St. John Paul II, warned of what he called the death of true freedom, paragraph 40. This concern was also addressed in the Gospel of Life, where he wrote about freedom's essential link with truth, an inherently relational dimension. That's paragraph 19. And finally, in his later encyclical on faith and reason, Fides et Ratio, he wrote, and I quote, "It's not just that freedom is part of the act of faith, it's absolutely required. It is faith that allows individuals to give consummate expression to their own freedom." Put differently, freedom's not realized in decisions made against God. For how could it be an exercise of true freedom to refuse to be open to the very reality which enables our self-realization? Men and women can accomplish no more important act in their lives than the act of faith. It is here that freedom reaches the certainty of truth and chooses to live in that truth. That's paragraph 13. All of this invites us to pause and reflect on our own lives and our own choices. How are we exercising our human freedom? What are we choosing and who are we becoming? Always be open to correction from the church and embrace it when it's offered. And if there's a teaching which you find difficult to accept, make a point to speak with a priest or a deacon soon so that you may enjoy a Christian understanding and the new insight and freedom that it brings.